The asteroid field stretched like an unmarked graveyard, the wreckage of forgotten ships tumbling silently through the void. The U.S. Valkyrie, a state-of-the-art United Earth warship, drifted through the debris with slow, deliberate movements. Its reinforced hull gleamed under the distant light of an unnamed red star, every weapon system primed for an ambush that hadn't come yet. Commander Elias Grayson sat at the center of the bridge, his fingers steepled under his chin. He had seen battle before. He had lost friends before. But something about this felt different. "Lieutenant Rains," he said, breaking the silence. "Anything on long-range scanners?" Sophia Rains, his second-in-command, tapped at her console, brow furrowed. "Nothing conclusive, sir. Just residual energy signatures. Faint. No sign of the ship that sent the distress call." Grayson's frown deepened. A week ago, an automated relay picked up a mayday from this sector. A mining vessel, Prospector 9, reported contact with an unknown force, then silence. No wreckage. No bodies. Just an empty signal repeating into the void. "Something's not right," Grayson muttered. "Tactical anything?" Ensign Patel, the youngest officer on the bridge, hesitated before responding. "Negative, sir. No hostiles on sensors. But I don't like this. It's too quiet." Too quiet. A phrase often used before everything went to hell. "Stay sharp," Grayson ordered. "We're not alone out here." The bridge remained silent, save for the soft hum of the ship's systems. Outside, the asteroid field stretched endlessly. Grayson hated situations like this. A missing ship? A vague distress signal. And no damn clue what they were walking into. Then, the sensor spiked. "Sir?" Rains began, but she didn't get to finish. A ship appeared out of nowhere. It materialized as if tearing itself from the fabric of space, a massive vessel black as night, its surface shifting like living metal. It had no visible engines, no identifiable weapons. Just a sleek, predatory frame that felt wrong. "Where the hell did that come from?" Patel gasped. Rains's fingers flew across her console. "No FTL wake, no subspace distortion, nothing. It's like it was already here, but we just couldn't see it." Grayson's stomach twisted. That wasn't possible. Every ship, no matter how advanced, left some trace of arrival. This one had appeared, not arrived. Then, the comms lit up. A transmission, garbled alien. The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances. The Valkyrie's universal translator struggled to process the language. Lines of code flashed across the screen, rapidly adjusting. Then, the message translated. "You are trespassing in the domain of the brood. Identify or be consumed." Silence. Grayson stood slowly, his muscles coiled like a spring. "Open a channel." The main view screen flickered, and then it appeared. The alien was enormous. Its exoskeletal plating gleamed with a sickly iridescence, and its multifaceted eyes reflected the dim glow of the bridge lights. A crown of spiked mandibles twitched as it regarded them, its chitinous body pulsing as if it were breathing. A deep, guttural series of clicks followed. The translator took a moment before displaying the words on screen. "You have entered our feeding grounds. You will serve as nourishment." Rains inhaled sharply. Patel swallowed. Grayson kept his face neutral, even as his instincts screamed. He had encountered hostile species before. Pirates, warlords, rogue AI. But this? This was something else. "This is Commander Elias Grayson of the United Earth ship Valkyrie," he said evenly. "We received a distress signal in this sector. We are not here for conflict." The alien's mandibles twitched, and a low, reverberating sound filled the bridge, something disturbingly close to laughter. "Prey does not negotiate." The transmission cut off. "Shields up!" Grayson snapped. At that moment, the brood vessel attacked. The bridge rocked as a searing plasma beam lanced toward them, barely missing the Valkyrie's hull. The heat from the blast alone overloaded minor systems, causing sparks to shower from the control panels. "They're charging weapons again!" Rains shouted. Return fire! The Valkyrie's forward railguns discharged, sending high-velocity slugs streaking toward the alien ship. The rounds hit, but instead of sparking against metal, they sank into the hull, like harpoons piercing flesh. The brood ship shuddered. Its entire form shifted, as though it had felt pain. Grayson's stomach dropped. That thing's alive! Before anyone could react, the enemy vessel retaliated. A tendril, black, serrated, and organic, shot from its side, whipping through space toward them. Evasive maneuvers! The Valkyrie banked hard, narrowly avoiding the appendage as it sliced through space where they had been. Jump drive status? Grayson barked. Charging, Rain said, eyes locked on her display. But we need more time! They didn't have time. The brood ship was already adapting, its form shifting, more tendrils extending. Then, another blip on sensors. Multiple contacts. What now? Patel yelled. Grayson's jaw clenched. More hostiles? No, Rains whispered. Not hostiles. Out of the void, 6 news ships decloaked. They were sleek, sharp, moving like ghosts through the battlefield. Then, a new transmission. The main view screen flickered, revealing a humanoid figure, tall, gaunt, with deep-set eyes and skin the color of storm clouds. Unlike the brood, this one wore armor, a uniform with unfamiliar insignia. If you value your lives, the figure said, follow our lead. Grayson barely hesitated. Weapons, hold fire. Helm, get us behind them. The mysterious fleet attacked instantly, their energy weapons piercing the brood ship's hide. Unlike the Valkyrie's weapons, these were effective. Chitin cracked, black ichor spewed into the void, and the brood ship reeled in what could only be pain. For the first time, the enemy hesitated. Grayson exhaled. Looks like we've got new friends. Then, something worse happened. The brood ship split apart. Not an explosion. Not a failure. It shed its outer layers, breaking into dozens of smaller, writhing ships that moved independently. The battlefield was suddenly swarming. Oh, that's not fair, Rains muttered. The alien leader's voice cut through the chaos. Do not let them latch onto your hull. They will consume your ship from the inside. Noted, Grayson said through gritted teeth. The Valkyrie dodged and weaved as the swarm descended, its point defense systems lighting up the dark. Some of the creatures still made it through, latched onto the hull, mandibles cutting deep. Shaking them off! Patel shouted, redirecting power to maneuvering thrusters. The ship twisted violently, scraping the parasites off against a nearby asteroid. Jump drive status? Almost there! The alien leader's voice cut in again. We have a way out. But you won't like it. Grayson's mind raced. I already don't like today. What's the plan? A brief pause. Then, we're about to jump. Synchronize your drive with ours. Trust me. Trust an unknown fleet? In the middle of an apocalyptic space battle? He didn't have a choice. Do it. 5 seconds. The brood swarmed closer. 4. A massive bioship lunged for them. 3. A final plasma blast shot toward them. 2. The hull shuddered under impact. 1. Space twisted, and then they were gone. Commander Elias Grayson had experienced faster-than-light travel thousands of times, but this was different. The jump wasn't smooth, it was a rip through reality, a sensation like being stretched, twisted, and hurled through an unseen current. The Valkyrie wasn't just moving through space, it was being pulled. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, it stopped. Grayson slammed into his restraints as the ship lurched back into real space. The lights flickered, emergency alarms blaring. For a moment, silence reigned on the bridge. Then Lieutenant Rains groaned. Okay, what the hell was that? Grayson took a steadying breath. Status report. Ensign Patel's fingers flew over the controls, sweat beading on his forehead. Jump complete, but I don't know how. That wasn't a standard FTL transition. Our drive is still charging, but we moved light years in an instant. Grayson turned his gaze to the viewport. Outside, the void was wrong. Instead of open space, the Valkyrie was now inside some kind of nebula, a swirling mass of blue and violet gas, crackling with energy. They were somewhere else entirely. And they weren't alone. Surrounding them were the alien ships that had saved them, 6 sleek vessels, dark and angular, hovering with eerie precision. And ahead of them, looming like a silent god, was a station, if it could even be called that. It was massive, easily the size of a small moon, its surface a twisting network of organic and mechanical structures fused together. Bioluminescent veins pulsed across its hull, giving it the appearance of something alive. A single word flashed in Grayson's mind. Colony. A voice crackled over the comms. Welcome to Kai Space. Do not power weapons. Do not attempt to leave. We have saved you, for now. Grayson exchanged a glance with Rains. Friendly. Rains sighed. I mean, friendlier than the last things we met. True enough. He tapped his console. Open a channel. The screen flickered, and the alien from before appeared, tall, gaunt, with piercing eyes that radiated the cold calculation of a veteran strategist. Your species is reckless. The alien's voice was deep, almost disappointed. You ventured into brute-controlled space without knowledge of what you faced. Grayson kept his expression neutral. We received a distress signal. We were investigating. The alien's mandibles twitched slightly, a gesture that could have been amusement or contempt. And instead, you nearly became food. Rains folded her arms. Who are you? The alien straightened. I am High Marshal Vorus of the Kai Dominion. The name meant nothing to Grayson, but it felt important. And the brood? A pause. Your people have no name for them. That is both fortunate and unfortunate. Grayson narrowed his eyes. They called us prey. Vorus's expression darkened. Because that is all you are to them. The tension in the room thickened. Explain, Grayson said. Vorus took a slow breath before answering. The brood are not a species. They are an infestation. A biological plague that consumes entire civilizations, entire empires. They do not negotiate. They do not conquer. They simply feed. Grayson's hands clenched into fists. How many? Vorus met his gaze. How many what? How many civilizations have they wiped out? The Kai commander's expression didn't change. You are speaking to the last survivors of one. Silence. Grayson inhaled deeply. And Earth? Vorus tilted his head slightly. The brood will come. You are not ready. A cold weight settled in Grayson's chest. We don't plan on becoming a buffet. The Kai commander gave something that resembled a grim smile. Then listen carefully, human. Because war is coming, whether you want it or not. The Valkyrie had been granted temporary docking rights within the Kai station. Grayson stepped onto the metallic platform of the hangar, flanked by Rains and 2 security officers. Around them, Kai moved with silent efficiency, their long limbs and sharp armor making them look deadly, even without weapons. Grayson had no doubt that if the Kai wanted them dead, they would be dead already. Vorus led them through a vast corridor, the walls pulsing with a soft, organic glow. It was unsettling. The station felt like a living thing, a blend of technology and biology that was far beyond anything Earth had ever built. You need to understand the scale of the threat, Vorus said as they entered a massive chamber. The room was filled with holograms, star systems, tactical maps, images of battles that had already been fought. The brood were everywhere. Grayson stared at a system marked in red. What's this? Vorus's expression hardened. A world that no longer exists. The hologram changed, showing a planet similar to Earth, oceans, cities, a thriving civilization. Then the brood arrived. The footage was horrific. Tendrils latching onto skyscrapers, pulling them apart. Ships being torn from the sky. Soldiers screaming as they were engulfed. It was total annihilation. Rains exhaled. How do you stop something like this? Vorus turned to them. You don't. You kill them all, or they kill everything. Grayson's mind raced. If the brood reached Earth, it wouldn't just be war. It would be extermination. How long do we have? He asked. Voris was silent. Then he pointed at a different system. A system on the very edge of United Earth's territory. They are already here. The meeting had ended. The information had been shared. But Grayson couldn't sleep. He stood on the Valkyrie's bridge, staring out at the swirling nebula. Can't shut your brain off either? Rains asked, stepping beside him. He let out a breath. We came here for a distress signal. Instead, we found a goddamn extinction-level threat. She crossed her arms. Do you believe them? Grayson turned to her. You saw the same thing I did. What do you think? She didn't answer right away. Then, I think Earth is in deep shit. A beat of silence. We have to warn them, she said. Grayson nodded. Yeah. We do. Before he could speak further, the alarms blared. Sir! Patel's voice crackled over the comms. We have incoming! Grayson turned sharply. Brood? No, Patel said, voice tight. Worse. The view screen flared to life, showing an approaching fleet, but not the brood. United Earth warships. A fleet of his own people, and they had their weapons locked onto the Valkyrie. A message appeared on the screen. Commander Grayson, by order of United Earth Command, you are to stand down immediately. You are charged with unlawful contact with an unrecognized alien entity and violation of first contact protocols. Rains swore. They're here to arrest us? Grayson exhaled sharply. No, he said. They're here to silence us. The tension on the Valkyrie's bridge was suffocating. Commander Elias Grayson stared at the message on the screen, his hands clenched into fists. United Earth Command had sent a fleet, not just a single ship, but an entire battle group. And every single one of those warships had their weapons trained on the Valkyrie. Beside him, Lieutenant Rains muttered, This is insane. They're treating us like traitors. Grayson's jaw tightened. They don't want the truth getting out. A second transmission followed, this time with Admiral Dorian Mercer's face filling the screen. The older officer's expression was carved from stone, his gaze as sharp as a blade. Commander Grayson, Mercer said, his tone icy. You will stand down immediately and surrender your vessel. Grayson folded his arms. Admiral, with all due respect, I think you have the wrong target. We just barely survived an encounter with an extinction-level threat, and now you want to throw us in a cell? Mercer's eyes flickered with something unreadable. Your mission was to investigate a distress signal. Instead, you've made unauthorized contact with a foreign power. Your actions have put Earth at risk. Rains scoffed. We put Earth at risk? Admiral, we found something out there. Something that could wipe us out. And you're worried about protocols? Mercer's expression remained neutral. It is not your concern anymore, Lieutenant. Surrender your ship, or we will take it by force. Grayson's mind raced. There was no reasoning with Mercer. He had orders, and orders from the top meant one thing: someone in United Earth Command knew about the brood and was trying to bury it. The guy had been right. The brood were already here. And Earth was walking blind into annihilation. He glanced at Rains, then Patel, then the rest of the bridge crew. They were loyal. They had followed him through hell and back. And they would follow him now. Mute the channel, he ordered. Patel obeyed instantly. Rains turned to him. I really hope you have a plan. Grayson exhaled sharply. It's not a good one. The United Earth fleet outgunned them. The Valkyrie was a powerful ship, but against an entire battle group? They wouldn't last 2 minutes in a firefight. They needed a distraction. Or a bigger problem. A slow, dangerous idea formed in his mind. He turned to Patel. What's our position relative to Kai space? Patel hesitated. Close. Technically, we're right on the border. Grayson nodded. And the guy? How do you think they'd feel about an Earth fleet sitting in their backyard, weapons hot? Realization dawned on Rains's face. You're planning to start a diplomatic incident. It's that, or we get boarded and silenced. She exhaled. Screw it. I've had worse ideas. Grayson turned back to Patel. Open a channel to High Marshal Voris. Seconds later, the alien commander's face appeared on screen. Commander Grayson. Your people have turned on you. Grayson didn't have time for pleasantries. High Marshal, you have 6 warships. Earth has 12 sitting right in front of me. If they take the Valkyrie, they take everything we know about the Brood, and I think you know they're not ready for what's coming. Voris's expression remained unreadable. Are you asking for our protection? Grayson leaned forward. I'm asking if you want a reason to stop Earth from making the biggest mistake in its history. A beat of silence. Then Voris's mandibles twitched. Very well, human. We will remind your people who owns this space. The transmission cut out. Moments later, the nebula erupted with activity. 6 Sky warships decloaked, appearing like wraiths out of the void. Their weapons locked onto the United Earth fleet, their sleek hulls glowing with energy. The balance of power shifted instantly. Grayson unmuted the channel. Admiral Mercer, if you fire on us now, you won't just be starting a mutiny, you'll be starting a war. For the first time, Mercer hesitated. He glanced at his tactical display, calculating. Then he cursed under his breath. Grayson pressed forward. Admiral, we both know what's at stake. We've seen the Brood. We've fought them. We know what they're capable of. Earth is in danger, and if you don't let us go, billions of people are going to die. Mercer's jaw clenched. I can't let you run rogue with classified information. Grayson shook his head. You don't have a choice. A long, agonizing pause. Then Mercer's shoulders sagged, just slightly. Get the hell out of my sight, Commander, he said, his voice low. And pray that you're wrong. The fleet pulled back. Grayson let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. Patel, plot a course to the nearest relay station. We're sending a message to Earth. They need to know what's coming. Rains nodded. And then? Grayson's eyes darkened. Then we prepare for war. The Valkyrie surged through space, engines burning hot as it slipped past the retreating United Earth fleet. Behind them, the Sky warships maintained their formation, like silent sentinels watching over their temporary human allies. Grayson barely had a moment to breathe. The situation was tenuous. They had avoided capture, but their mission was far from over. Patel spoke up from the console. Sir, we've plotted a course to the nearest relay station. We can send a message to Earth within the hour. Grayson nodded. Do it. Full encryption, highest priority. Rains leaned against the tactical console. You really think Command's just going to listen? They tried to shut us up. They'll bury this if they can. Grayson clenched his jaw. They won't have a choice. We're not just sending this to Command. Rains blinked. Wait, what? A grim smile tugged at his lips. We're broadcasting to everyone. Every outpost, every colony, every civilian fleet. We make this public, and they can't cover it up. Silence fell over the bridge. Then Patel let out a low whistle. That's going to make us very wanted criminals. Grayson exhaled. Better than being extinct. No one argued. The transmission was prepared, containing everything they had: sensor data, battle footage, intelligence from the sky, and the truth about the Brood. Patel's fingers hovered over the control panel. One button, and the whole galaxy knows. Grayson gave a single nod. Do it. Patel pressed the button. A pulse of data shot through subspace, spreading like wildfire across human-controlled space. And just like that, the war had begun. 1 week later, the siege of Outpost 47. Grayson had barely slept since the transmission. The Valkyrie had become a symbol, a ship full of traitors or heroes, depending on who you asked. Half of United Earth's forces wanted them executed for treason. The other half had seen the footage, seen the Brood in action, and were beginning to ask questions. But there was no time for political fallout. The Brood had moved faster than anyone expected. They had taken Outpost 47. It had been one of Earth's outermost settlements, a colony of 50,000 people. Now it was a graveyard. The Valkyrie was part of the first response fleet, but they were already too late. The brood's organic tendrils had wrapped around the station like a cancer, twisting its once pristine hull into something nightmarish. Patel's voice trembled. "No life signs, Commander." Grayson's stomach turned to iron. 50,000 people gone. Rains whispered. "We should burn the whole damn thing." Grayson didn't disagree. But then the station moved. "Sir!" Patel shouted. "We're detecting power surges inside the colony." On the view screen, the twisted husk of Outpost 47 began to pulse. Veins of biomatter lit up, glowing sickly green. The entire station was transforming. Grayson's blood ran cold. The brood didn't just consume. They converted. Patel gasped. "Sir, it's not a station anymore." The realization hit Grayson like a punch to the gut. The brood weren't just feeding, they were turning the station into a warship. "Get us out of here," he ordered. Too late. The corrupted station ship came to life, weapons growing out of its hull like tumors. The moment the Valkyrie turned, it opened fire. The Battle of Outpost 47. The first blast grazed their shields, shaking the entire ship. "Evasive maneuvers!" Grayson barked. The Valkyrie rolled hard, narrowly avoiding a second shot. The rest of the response fleet opened fire, blue and red lances of energy scorching the brood-infested station. But the thing that had once been Outpost 47 fought back, its bioorganic weapons adapting to human tactics in real time. A nearby United Earth warship was too slow. The brood's weapons morphed, firing a spike of hardened biomass that pierced through the ship's hull like paper. A scream of static filled the comms as the warship ruptured. Grayson gritted his teeth. "We can't beat it. Not like this." Rains turned to him. "Then how?" A desperate plan formed. "The reactor," he said. "That thing still has an original human reactor buried inside it. If we overload it, it goes boom." Rains finished. Grayson nodded. "We're getting inside." The final gamble. It was the most reckless thing Grayson had ever done. The Valkyrie punched through the station's rotting defenses, dodging biomissiles and energy spikes. The crew, his crew, fought their way into the guts of the brood-infested colony, weapons blazing. The deeper they went, the worse it got. The corridors had been transformed, lined with pulsing flesh, twitching as though the station itself was alive. The bodies of colonists were embedded in the walls, their mouths open in frozen screams, absorbed into the brood's biomass. Rains cursed under her breath. "No one deserves to die like this." Grayson pressed forward, heart pounding. "We end it. Here. Now." They reached the reactor core, and it was already mutating. Brood tendrils had begun wrapping around the power source, trying to assimilate it. Grayson didn't hesitate. He placed the charges. Then the brood reacted. The walls tore open, and the creatures came. Not just soldiers. Not just monsters. The brood queen itself. It was massive, its form constantly shifting, a nightmarish fusion of all the species it had consumed. It stared at them, eyes like burning voids, and spoke. "You are meat. You will be consumed. You cannot stop us." Grayson lifted his weapon. "Try me." The detonation. The fight was brutal. The brood queen lashed out, tearing through walls, hurling debris. The crew fought like demons, knowing there was no retreat. Rains took a hit, slammed against the wall, blood dripping from her forehead. Grayson fired his last shot, the plasma bolt searing through the queen's face. Then, "Charge is set!" Patel's voice crackled over comms. Grayson didn't hesitate. "Blow it!" A blinding explosion tore through the station. The Valkyrie barely escaped, engines screaming as the entire corrupted colony was engulfed in fire. The brood ship station ruptured, its mutated mass collapsing in on itself, energy arcing wildly as the reactor overloaded. And then, boom! The shockwave rocked space itself, the brood's experiment annihilated. Victory. For now. The bridge was silent. The battle was over. Outpost 47 was gone, but so was the brood's first foothold. Grayson exhaled. We stopped them. Rains wiped blood from her temple. For now. Patel swallowed. They're not going to forget this. Grayson nodded. Good. He turned to the screen, staring at the vast emptiness of space. And somewhere out there, the brood were watching. Waiting. And when they returned, humanity would be ready.